Funniest comment I've seen all day. Well, merry humbug to all of you.
In the service when I was 19.
A blast from the past for World War II veteran Vernon Frame, a former master sergeant in the military, reflecting on a time long, long ago.
I was a little bit better looking then than I am now. Not much, but just a little bit better looking.
But now, Frame's turning his sights forward to Christmas Day, which will be extra special for him this year. Frame, a resident at Daybreak Village Senior Living in Kennesaw, will be turning 100 years old. He's joining fellow World War II veteran Arvel Buck, who celebrated his 100th back on December 9th. And crazy enough, there's a third World War II vet, Phil Wright, at the same assisted living facility, who will hit the century milestone this upcoming April. Daybreak Village Director of Operations Sarah Chapman says it is an honor to take care of 3 World War II vets who risked their lives for you and me.
We're so close now. We are their family. This is our family. We're their family. It's just unbelievable, some of the stories we've heard and what they've been through to be where they are today.
Natalie Foltz, Fox 5 News.
Thanking those men for their service.
Sing a new song to the Lord. Sing to the Lord all the earth. Oh, sing to the Lord, bless his name. Let the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. Let the sea and all within it thunder praise. Let the mountains rejoice. All the trees of the world shout for joy.
With those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call, it's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's significant.
Deliberately detonated, but a motive or target still a mystery. Metro Nashville police releasing this photo of an RV in the downtown area. They say it arrived early Christmas morning, then exploded hours later.
We have found tissue that we believe could be remains. There's matter all over the area down there, and so we'll continue to examine that to see if it is human remains.
The damage caused by that massive blast shown in this video captured by a resident. The force of the explosion knocking down trees, blowing out windows in the area popular with tourists, with all of its bars and restaurants.
I was laying in bed and there was just the biggest explosion I've ever heard. It just knocked the windows from the front room into the back It knocked the front door off the hinges. The water started coming down from all the pipes.
3 people were hurt, and the explosion damaged more than 40 buildings in Nashville's downtown area. Police had originally responded to reports of shots fired, but when officers arrived, they saw that suspicious RV and say it was playing a recording, warning that a bomb would detonate in 15 minutes. Soon after, the parked bomb exploded. It's not known right now if anyone was inside.
Intersection of Campbellton Road and Epworth Street. This is in southwest Atlanta.
We have witnesses that reported several shots fired in the area.
The man died at the hospital. We spoke with his family at the scene. They tell us he kept to himself and lived nearby.
It's very, troubling. My heart goes out to this man's family.
As this investigation continues, police tell us they are planning to have a heavier presence in this area. Police haven't said what led to the shooting. We're told the gunman is not in custody. In southwest Atlanta, Brian Hill, Fox 5 News.
And Atlanta detectives also working to learn more information.
Your office.
Freezing cold in here.
Lucy turned the heat off. He thought it might make you drowsy. You'll be the only man in hell who's chilly. Watch out for the rats. They nibble things.
Rats?
Oh, I almost forgot. I knew there was something. They apologize that your plane wasn't ready for your arrival. It's so big, they had to take on extra devils at the foundry to finish it. It's even bigger than I thought it would be. Oh, here it is now.
Can write it off over like 5 years. It's called a tax loss carry forward, and there was a thing a couple of years ago. A very large New York bank lost $838 million in 1 year, and I always get the impression that they're always surprised, that they thought they were making money all year, and they just find out when how'd we do this year, Tom? 838 million loss? Oh, you're crazy. Hand me that, Tom. You added that wrong. That's 838. No, Tom's right. We sure did. We lost 838 million. Now, if you're an individual, so you don't qualify for that. You couldn't go to the IRS and say, yeah, I make $35,000 a year, and my wife makes 25. Altogether, we make around $60,000 a year.
$1,000 checks.
Consistent with the request of the President of the United States,
Republicans requested approval to review how U.S. tax dollars are spent overseas.
To ask for its immediate consideration in the House.
They both failed.
So we do not have unanimous consent.
There isn't much time to try anything else, so Democrats are urging the president to sign the recently passed coronavirus relief package, even if it's not everything he wants. Government funding runs out Monday. Expanded unemployment benefits expire Saturday.
surely the President of the United States, whether he's in Mar-a-Lago or any place else, ought to empathize with the pain and suffering and apprehension and deep angst that the American people are feeling this Christmas Eve and sign this bill.
Some lawmakers admit the bill gives Americans reasons to be frustrated.
They were looking at the millions and millions and millions of dollars that we spend all
holiday, too. 2 years ago, lawmakers thought they had an agreement with the president to fund the government just before Christmas.
The nays are 21, with Rudolph responding present.
But by morning, the president announced his opposition, and the government shuttered for more than a month. This time, the possibility of a shutdown is very real. The House plans to move an interim spending bill on Monday night, just hours before the government runs out of cash. But the Senate isn't even scheduled to meet until Tuesday. The Constitution requires the president to sign or veto a bill within 10 days, Sundays excluded. But this bill hits his desk right before the end of a congressional session. So it's possible President Trump could ignore the bill. The president never outright said he would veto the bill, and he may not have to. It's called a pocket veto. The president takes the bill and puts it in his pocket. The congressional session ends on January 3rd, and it's as though the bill never happened.
The thing we need is to say we're going to stop immediately the access to asylum the way it's being run now, and end up with 2 million people on our border.
During the campaign, Trump repeatedly warned Biden's immigration plan would lead to a surge of immigrants.
Immediately suspend all removals, triggering a tidal wave of really a flood, if you think, a flood all across our border.
Critics accused Trump of hyperbole, but today the acting CBP director said Biden's rhetoric already has consequences.
As long as he maintains policies that he said he's going to do, we are absolutely looking at a crisis. It's already happened.
Biden has backed off promises to stop wall construction and the Remain in Mexico program, lift limits on refugees, end detention and metering at the border, and allow asylum seekers entry.
It's a matter of setting up the guardrails so we can move the direction.
Biden says he needs at least 6 months to build capacity before enacting a more humane policy. While most immigrant advocates give Biden a pass, Minnesota Democrat Ilhan Omar calls Biden's move a classic bait and switch. Biden's dilemma is this. Biden's closely follow U.S. policy. Any attempt to unwind Trump's restrictions threaten to overwhelm the border by encouraging waves of Central Americans. That's a crisis Biden witnessed in 2014 as vice president and has seen some fear could happen again. In Los Angeles, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
Still ahead.
The west area of Rio Grande Valley or South Texas. Here, a smuggler crosses the border near Brownsville with 4 children, all under age 7. When agents approach, he abandons the kids and rafts back to Mexico. Confused, wet, and shivering, the children huddle until the Border Patrol arrives. The other day where we had, I think, a 3-year-old child with a phone number written on her leg and then some information written on her T-shirt, and to me, that is just a recipe for disaster. The phone numbers make it easy for U.S. officials to contact parents or relatives already here. Unaccompanied children crossing the border jumped from 25 a day in April to 150 a day now. DHS officials say 35% of the kids test positive for COVID.
I'm worried for my coworkers. I'm worried for my family. I'm worried for my friends. I'm worried for migrants.
Why the increase? Floods and the pandemic, the election of Joe Biden, and a judge's recent ruling that
I think that all foreign aid should be suspended until this country is out of the woods. But yet, there are certain people in the federal government that think we need to waste billions of dollars on some real bullshit foreign aid package. I mean, if you really looked and saw what's in there, in this bill that's supposed to be keeping the government services operating and helping American citizens. Charity begins at home. Another rainy day in Georgia. Probably raining all over the world. We're having a little bit of snowflakes fall. Yeah, looks like a snow. Right there is black ice. It's about 29, 30 degrees right now. And it ain't gonna melt no time soon.